Okay, Claudine, go ahead.
All right. Well, thank you everyone again for attending our Tech Talk this month. So today we are really delighted to have our own Dr. Zhang giving us a talk on multi-level modeling. Before I introduce him, let me mention some housekeeping issues. We have our two next Tech Talks. So we have a Tech Talk, as you know, once a month on Thursday, and that's the first Thursday of the month. The next one will be in May 2nd, and Keshap Subedi, who is also from iReach, will give a tech talk on principal component analytics. And the following one in June, again, first Thursday of the month, which will be June 6th, will be Dr. Zhang again, who will talk about multivariate analysis. So please make sure that you have those on your calendar. And in April 23rd, we have an ID series conference, which will be given by Dr. Chen, David Chen from ChristianaCare, and he will talk about gun violence. So that's something else also that you don't want to miss. And now our ID series are on Tuesday, and that will be Tuesday, April 23rd. We continue to extend CME credits for our Tech Talks and our ID series. We will provide information via email to those who registered to today's event. And if you did not register prior to today's talk, you can still obtain CME code information from Deborah Rees, and she will include her email in the chat box. So again, I'm really very excited to introduce Dr. Zhang and to hear his presentation. Dr. Zhang is Director of Biostatistics in the Institute for Research on Equity and Community Health, or iReach, here at ChristianaCare. He is also an affiliated professor of statistics in the Department of Mechanical Engineering at University of Delaware and adjunct faculty at Thomas Jefferson in Philadelphia. He's a fellow of the American Heart Association. He obtained a Master in Science in Statistics from University of Arizona and a PhD in Biostatistics from University of Iowa. Something also really interesting is that Zugui has a master's degree in History of Science from Beijing University, and he taught History of Science at the Chinese Academy of Science. And he has also taught multiple courses in biostatistics since he arrived at ChristianaCare, from basic level to very advanced level. And here at Christiana has taught courses to medical residents and fellows. He has a long list of publications, has been funded as a co-investigator biostatistician on multiple grants, and is also a member of our biostatistics epidemiology and research liaison corps, or BIRD, for the ACCEL TechTalk. So Zugui, we are really excited about your presentation. Just a note for everyone, Dr. Zhang will have to leave early because he has another class to give, a course to the residents at 1, so he will leave a little early. So thank you again. Zugui, the floor is yours.
Thank you for your introduction. Can you see my full screen?
We see the slides, Zugui. Good.
Okay. Today I'm going to talk about multi-level modeling. There are many different terminologies, but they refer to the same material about multi-level modeling, such as like a hierarchical modeling, random effect modeling, mixed models, random parameter models, nested models, and so on. In nature, multi-level modeling is a statistical approach that allows specifying and estimating relationships between variables that have been observed at a different level of a hierarchical data structure. Compared to multi-level modeling, if we do not consider the different level, we will call it a single level modeling. Multi-level modeling can handle for different type of response types. For example, can handle the outcome with a continuous variable, with binary outcomes, and also with survival status outcomes. Today, our examples will focus on continuous outcome and the binary outcome. When we conducting multi-level modeling, the basic framework is like consider a extension of regression, but occurring at different levels. A researcher might be interested in modeling like systolic blood pressure measured of individual patients. That can be considered like level 1. And then exploring the influence of characteristics associated with either physicians, clinics, or hospitals those patients attend. Alternatively, we can consider like the clinic or physician like the second level. A third level could be added by using multiple measurements or SBP measurements across time at a level 1 unit, nested within individual patients, nested within hospital, and so on. When we conduct multi-level regression modeling, first we start from the individual or the lowest level. For the lowest level, we just have the regular regression model, like Yij is a function of the combination of risk factors. So that is our regular single or simple level 1 model. And here we have the predictors and the error terms. When we consider like the second level, for the simple level 2 model with 1 hospital level predictor. So for example, we can consider patients is in the hospital, so the patients will be in the hospital, and then we will have a second level of function. And here we will have like the intercept for the measurements outcome across patients and across hospitals. So now we have 2 levels. Level 1 is patients, and level 2 is hospitals. So this is the second level equation. And then we combine the random intercept and the slope model. So by doing some mathematical calculation, we can combine level 1 and level 2 equation with the level 2 equation of random intercept and the slope model. So we put together, we will get this Yij with this X stands for the patients, and then we with these other like the W variables for the second level, and then we have the coefficients for the first level and for the third level. The major features of multi-level is related to the new concept called the random effects and the fixed effects. In addition to understanding the equation used to express multi-level models, important to understand the used for this multi-level model, which means the random effects and the fixed effects. If no random effects, no multi-level model. So random effects, which are estimated as variance components, are model parameters that are estimated to vary between higher level units, while fixed effects are estimated a model to not vary between higher level units. So when we talk about multi-level modeling, at least or at minimum, a 2-level linear model should be considered. If we do not consider like a hospital level, that will be the regular regression model. For the random intercept model, we can see like that if the random error term here is mu0j is a part of the model that represents the intercept variance between level 2 units, such as like a hospital. We would be left with the, without this, we will just the ordinary least square equation. Just because we have this random interceptor term allows us to call the model depicted in the equation. So this is called the random interceptor model. In addition to the random interceptor model, we also have the random slope model, which means we will consider another one allows the random slope for our patients, like level 1 predictor variables. A random slope means we're allowing the relationship between the patient level predictors and the outcome to change or vary across level 2 units, such as like the hospital. Those random effects are key components of multi-level models that differentiate from the single-level models. The single-level model is the ordinary models. And then, as in the traditional regression model, we could have like the other variables without consider the variation between the higher levels, such as like the hospital level compared to the patients. So we have the fixed effects. So after that, we will have a model intercept fixed effects and the for the first level and for the second level. When we try to build a multi-level modeling, the basic process is like this. First, we will have a model 1, no predictors, just the random effect for the intercept, which means we will look at the variation due to 2 things. One, for the level 1's variation. Second, for the level 2 situation. For example, if we look at the patients within the different hospitals, we will see the SPP variation among the different patients, and also look at the impact of hospitals on patients' blood pressure. So this is like we just have the outcome, which means no predictors. And then we will add a level 1 fixed effects. For example, we can add like patients' age, gender, and others. The results indicate the relationship between level 1 predictors and the outcome. And then we will have the model 3. Model 3 is on the basis of model 2. We put as a random slope for level 1 predictors. The fixed effect results provide the same information as model 2. The random slope results will tell us if the relationship between level 1 predictors and the outcome vary between level 2 units. For example, we would like to look at the impact coming from the hospital. And then we will have the model 4. Model 4, we will have like the level 1 fixed effects, the random slope, and also we will look at the level 2 fixed effects. For example, we could add the size of hospital and others. So level 2 fixed effects results include the relationship between level 2 predictors and the outcomes. And the rest of the results provide the same information as like in the model 3. So for the 2-level model, we can like run the 4-step model, and then we will have 4 models with the different purpose. When we look at the multi-level models, we will have the 2 basic. One is called the organizational models. For example, patients is listed in physician. Physician is listed in clinics. Clinics is listed in the hospital. So we will have like our hierarchical organization. So this is called the organization multi-level model. Another model is called the growth curve or growth type model. This model we will look at the basic unit will not the individual, and then the basic unit will be the individual measurements. For example, one patient could have like SBP measurements in each month, which means if for the 1 year, the patient will have 12 different measurements over time. In that case, the basic unit will not the patient, but the every month measurement. In this case, every month measurement is basic unit, or the first level, and the second level is patient. So in that case, we will see a curve reflect the repeated change. So this is called the growth model. First, I would like to look at how can we use multi-level model to look at the growth curve model, and then see how we can use multi-level approaches to capture this variation. This is one of the projects I participated several years ago. It is about the medical legal partnership. In this project, our purpose is to address patients' unmet legal needs through health system legal and collaboration. And in this study, we examined the effectiveness of our medical legal partnership with some utilities, including like length of stay and other chronic conditions. I'm going to talk about the purpose of using this data in this multi-level modeling is to look at how much of the variance in utility, in this case is length of stay or chronic conditions, is attributed to time and the patients, which means we will look at the length of stay change from intervention, and also look at the change from the different patients. Also, we will look at the influence of any time or intervention related to predicted severity among patients. So we would like to look at if the length of stay change due to the medical legal partnership intervention, or just due to the difference from the different patients. This is the data set for the medical legal partnership. And then we can see that for each participant, we will have a pre-intervention length of stay and after the intervention length of stay. So when we look at this multi-level modeling, specifically for the growth curve type of model, first we will have a wide format. Wide format means for each participant, for like the different lengths of stay, we will have a pre or post. So the outcome will like before intervention and after the intervention. So for each participant, for each patient, we only have one row for each patient. But for the multi-level analysis in this growth curve modeling, our basic unit is not a patient. Our basic unit is the results for the length of stay prior to the intervention and after to the intervention. So we would like to look at this unit is based upon the intervention. In that case, the first step for the growth curve modeling is to change the data format from wide format to long format, which means we can say that for each participant, they could have like several rows. The basic unit is not a patient. The basic unit in this case is the length of stay across time. So this is the first step for the long format data. And then we can run this like model 1 to get the randomly intercept model. For the randomly intercept model, as we mentioned that, without any predictor. Even though this is very simple, we have the very important outcomes from this multi-level analysis. This is called the interclass correlation coefficient. This coefficient is the measurement of how much of the total variation in patients' length of stay is accounted for by patients or by intervention. So here we can get like the ICC is the variation due to the participants, and then the variation due to the overall, and then we get the ICC equals 0.05. So this ICC 509%, and we can get like the 95% confidence interval indicated that the patient length of stay about 5.9% is due to the account for the patient, which means if we look at the variation in length of stay, we will have like a 5.9%. This variation due to the patients in this study, but that will leave about 94% of the variability in patient length of stay to accounted by for the time point from pre 1 year to the post 1 year. So this large proportion of the variability in patients' length of stay explained by the duration from pre to post emphasize the importance of accounting for the hierarchical structure of data featured by the implement of medical or legal partnership intervention. In other words, 94% of the variation due to the intervention, only about 6% this variability due to the different characteristics of patients. Now we are going to talk about if the outcome is not like length of stay, like a continuous outcome, but a binary outcome, for example, like some disease happened a lot or the death or life, we can use multi-level logistic model. First, without consider the multi-level, we will have like the fixed effects, which is our ordinary logistic regression. The resulting likelihood involves only group with variation in both the outcomes and the predictors. And then we can get this group effects at random, and then we can add the random part to the ordinary logistic regression, and then we have this multi-level logistic regression. So in this case, we will consider the impact of other like hierarchical. So now we are going to talk about another data set in our previous studies. We use the COVID-19 testing data set. This data set consists of more than 406,000 COVID-19 tests. And then this is like from our Newcastle County provided the data for the purpose of analyzing geographic trends in testing and positive rates. The records include tests for adults age 18 and older who are successfully geocoded and resulting in Newcastle County, Delaware. So in this case, the records were geocoded based upon the home address of the test recipient and aggregated to the census tract in which they are located. There are about 93% of records were like geocoded. So we exclude those patients without geocoded, and then the recorded will also test for the adults who live in Newcastle County. The variables in this data set consist of like ID, age, gender, race. Checked this is the geocoding information results, test results, positive or negative, and the site, test site location, and others. So how can we use multi-level for this analysis? This is a organizational type of multi-level modeling, which means the basic unit is patients. And then the participants or patients located in tested sites. And the tested sites is located in the tracks. But in this case, we want to look at like the test site and the track. So we can see if we want to look at the cluster. So in this case, the first level is the participants. And the second level will be the cluster based upon the test site and the track. So this is the data set for this multi-level. As we can see, for each participant, they were located in some test site and also located in some track. And we use the random intercept only to look at the impact of site. Why did we look at the impact of site? We would like to say if we look at the results from different patients, and we will see if as a contingent virus, COVID-19 positive or negative test results can show some trend or propensity of COVID-19 positive. So based upon the random intercept only model, as we did before, we get the ICC is 0.28. That means 28% of the variance in the tendency or propensity of COVID-19 positive can be attributed to the test site, which means the test site is one of the very important factors we need to consider, which means we can like have the different test site, and then the test results for the participants could be quite different, because 28% is more than like 1/4. Before, for the continuous variable, we talked about the ICC. For the logistical regression, the ITT, the ICC interclass correlation coefficient has another important factor. So here, for the logical model, the ICC is just related to the individual and the overall for the first level and the second level, and also related to a constant number in mathematics. Here we can see this is a pi. Pi is 3.14. This is for the logical model. And for the probability model, we have another circular ICC, which means this ICC will like mainly related to this like this certain level of errors. And we have the ICC for the log model with the same format as for the logit, but for the denominator, the overall error is estimated by pi squared divided by 6, which means this is fixed. The reason for this logistical regression with different three different types for the overall just because we ignore the normality of the data set. If we look at the impact of track, And then we can say using the random interceptor only model, we get the ICC is 0.05, which means 5% of variance in the tendency or the propensity of COVID-19 positive can be attributed to the tract, which means compared to tract, the impact of test site has significantly larger impact on the tendency or propensity of COVID-19 positive, because as we can see, the ICC for the test site is 28%, compared to the ICC for the tract is only about 5%. And so we can say if we use the two-level model, we can evaluate the impact of the higher level or the higher organization on the variation for the outcomes. After we talk about two-level regression model for continuous and categorical variable. Now, let's move on to three-level regression model. So we will have like a level 1, level 2, and level 3 predictor variables. For example, if we look at the impact of physicians and the hospitals on the blood pressure measurements, we will have 3 levels. Level 1 is the participants or patients. Level 2 could like a physician or clinics, and level 2 could like hospitals. So 3-level regression model is quite common in practice. And then we will have 3 types of errors. Here we have like the overall, which means like for level 1, level 2, and level 3. So we will have these 3 error terms for the 3-level regression. The fixed part of the model specifies the overall mean relationship between the response, the outcomes, and the predicted variables. Relationship that lies in the average in a hospital like so. The random part of the model specifies how the hospital or clinics or doctors specific relationship different from an overall mean relationship. See, like here, this is a 3-level data. Like we have a patient, we have a clinic doctor, or we have a hospital. So we have a patient level, clinic doctor level, and the hospital level. A real data set will also contain a response variable and typically a series of patients. So we can use this diagram to show this 3-level example. Basic process of building 3-level model. First, we build the no predict, just the random effect for the intercept, and then we add level 1 fixed, and then we add a random slope for level 1. So this is just like what we did for the 2-level. And then we will add the level 2 fixed effects. After that, we will have a random slope for level 2 predictors. And then we will add the level 3 fixed effects, such as like the size of hospital and others. So in a 3-level model, we could run 6 models from one step to another. So this is like we will add the level 1, level 2, and level 3 predicted variables. After we add in level 2 and level 3 predictors into the model, we will look at the variance. Here in level 2, in 2-level models, we will have like the first level overall and the second level variance. And now we have 3 levels. So the variance parameter can be interpreted using converge intervals, which is called the coverage interval, the variance partition coefficient. And the ICC is the way we just talked about. But here is different. Those statistics now describe the residual responsive variation. They describe the part of the responsive variable unexplained by the predicted variables. So we have like the fixed part for level 1, like the patient's characteristics like gender, age. Level 2, like physician's practice year and others. And level 3, like hospital size and others. So we will have slope coefficient beta 1 for the 1 unit increase in like for this predicted variables. And then we have slope coefficients beta 2, beta 3 for the explanation. And for the random part, the random part will like follow distribution, and then we want like this variance parameter measure the extent to which level 3 units continue to vary once we count for response variability across with these 3 predicted variables. So we will explain the impact of level 2 and level 3 on the outcome. Having fitting the model, we will use like a traditional statistic like Z ratios or word test statistics to test the significance of predicted variables as usual. And also we can use the likelihood ratio test to compare nested model, which is simple model contains the subset of predicted variable found in the more complex model, which means for the 6 models we mentioned, we can do some model selection. Now, let's provide you an example. This example is a common form article about the television score and the family smoking prevention and the sensation project. This is like 40 years ago. This project was designed to test the effect of 2 different school-based intervention on students' tobacco and health knowledge. One is the social resistance classroom curriculum, and another television-based program. This study sample involves school with 7th grade students in Los Angeles and San Diego, California. Schools were randomized to one of the 4 study conditions formed by across the 2 intervention in 2x2 design. We have classroom curriculum for the tobacco cessation, and also we have television-based program. And then we will have like the 4 different scenarios, like no intervention at all, just the 1 intervention, either the television or classroom curriculum, all have both. These 2 interventions were delivered to the 7th grade students in the school in spring 1986. Students completed the immediate post-intervention questionnaire, 1 year after questionnaire, and then 2-year follow-up questionnaire. In each time point, students' knowledge was assessed using the tobacco and health knowledge scale constructed as the number of correct answers to 7 binary question items. The data can be considered like hierarchical nested. Use them to illustrate the importance of clustering clinical and public health research and how multi-level models could be used to account for 2-level and 3-level hierarchical clustering structure. They concentrate the subset of students who studied at 28 Los Angeles schools and only analyzed data from the baseline and post-intervention time points. students who miss the data in either time point will be needed. So for this three-level hierarchical structure, we will have the students as level 1, listed in the classroom. This is level 2, and then classroom listed in randomly selected schools, level 3. We will fit 3-level multi-level models to examine the relative importance of the schools and the classrooms as influence on student tobacco and health knowledge. And we will pay particular attention to assess possible cost factor of CC and TV intervention. So we will not only look at the classroom curriculum and also at the television program. And also we will look at the impact of classroom. This is a peer influence, and also look at the impact of schools. So this is a very good example to show 3-level modeling. Schools are randomly assigned to 4 studied conditions: implementation of classroom curriculum and television interventions will carry out at the classroom level. Some schools and teachers would have been more enthusiastic about the intervention than others. So this is the reason we would like to look at the impact of school and the classroom. We therefore expect to see both between school, between classroom variation in students smoking cessation score, even they are accounting for baseline difference in their tobacco and their health knowledge. So for the 2 level, we can see the between patients and among patients for the growth curve. For the COVID-19, we can see the among patients for the COVID-19 test results, and also look at the results coming from the impact of test site and the tract. So, and here we will have like the variance partition coefficient. Variance partition coefficient reports the proportion of the observed response variation as at each level of model hierarchy. Like before, we can see the variation, how many percentage due to the first level, how many percentage due to the second level. And for the 3 level, we can see the variation percentage due to first level, due to second level, and due to third level, due to students, due to classroom, and due to school. So the variance partition coefficient allow us to estimate the relative importance of schools, classrooms, and students as sources of variation of students post the intervention science scores. By running this 3-level modeling, we get the school level variance participation coefficient is 0.057, which means 5.3%. And the classroom level count for this variance is 0.04, which means they are about 4.4%. And the students level for the variance partition coefficient count for 89.8%. So we can see this tobacco cessation scores variation for the 3 different levels of importance. We can see 5.7% of variation due to the impact of school, 4.4% difference due to the classroom, and then the majority, about 90% of the score due to the students, so that we can see the comparative importance. And then we can look at the inter-class correlation coefficient for the 3rd level is 0.057. So for this model, the score level inter-class correlation coefficient and coincidence with the score level. This equivalence will not hold in more complex models. Yeah, so if we look at like the random coefficients. So this is the reason why we need to look at further the classroom level. Here we look at the school level ICC, and then if we look at like the classroom ICC, this is 0.102. We can see the classroom level ICC does not coincident with the classroom level variance partition coefficient. The between school variance appears on the numerator expression for the classroom level ICC, but it does not appear to the numerator of the classroom level VPC. In other words, for the 3 level, we should calculate this variance partition coefficients and also calculate the different level of ICC. So this is the reason we need to understand the difference in ICC for the second level and for the third level. And we can see the ICC for school is 0.057 and the ICC for classroom is 0.102. Scores on students in the same school are slightly correlated, but scores on students within the classroom have a much higher correlation. Students from the same school, even in the same classroom, are not especially similar in the intervention of this score. So which means for the results of tobacco cessation, the major part due to the students, the difference. And the classroom and the school have about like a 5% impact, but not too much. We see the ICC school is 0.07 and the classroom is 0.1, about 10%. So as we can see, when we use the multi-level modeling, we first should recognize a range of multi-level structure and classification and how they are corresponding to the medical world situation, research design, and social science research problems. Specifically, we should look at the difference between like the organizational or multi-level modeling and the growth curve modeling. And we should like evaluate and then for the different types of data frames associated with each structure and how subscripts are used to represent the structure. We should differentiate like the levels and the variables, fixed and random classifications. We can understand the multi-level structures to like for the different structures. Specifically, if we would like to use for the 3-level, usually we run 2-level modeling quite often. Sometimes we run 3-level. I think for 4 or 5-level multi-modeling, very rare. Yeah. The main purpose of the multi-level modeling is to examine the impact of the organization or the higher levels impact for the outcomes. Use multi-level modeling, we can look at the impact of like organization or other things, but multi-level modeling also have some disadvantages. For example, if like for this ICC, the level is the value is too small, we can say run multi-level modeling is not appropriate. In many statistical software, specifically like Stata or others, they have a p-value to show if the higher level multi-level modeling is necessary or not. In medical research, multi-level is very useful, can allow us to look at the impact of the healthcare organization or the physician's impact for the outcomes. Okay, yeah, that's my presentation for the multi-level modeling.
Thank you so much, Zhugui. That explained a lot. Very, very enlightening. Do you have time, Zhugui? Do you have time for questions? I know you need to teach another class.
I could have the time to like 58 because my classroom is just the next room.
Okay. Any questions from the audience? Right. Well, I have questions. So, well, please, oh, there is something in the chat. No. Please, feel free to interrupt me or to add a question in the chat if you have any questions. So I guess whenever we start a multi-level, we always need to do an ICC at each level, right? Is this, did I understand well?
The
For
ICC,
each level.
no, ICC, for example, for the two-level model, we only have one ICC. The ICC is the measurement of the variation due to within or between. So, for example, for the two-level, we will see this variation in outcomes, how many percentage due to like the impact of the first level, how many due to the second level. For example, if we look at a growth curve modeling, suppose like we have the BP measurements, we will see the BP measurements variation. Suppose we measure the BP for 12 times per year, we will see this variation, how many percentage due to the patients from time to time, across time, or due to the different patients.
I see.
And with the three level, we will see it is a variation like for this smoking cessation project, we can see how many percentage due to the students individually, how many due to the classroom, how many due to schools.
I see. And so you described the VPC and you said that you needed to do both the VPC and the ICC, but if they are different, how do you, as you showed, how do you summarize?
Okay, this is very important. And here, saying this is for school. This ICC is for school, and then and this ICC is for classroom. And then how to summarize? This is very important. Like here, ICC for school is 0.057. For classroom is 0.10. So we will see for the tobacco cessation score, the variation about 5.7% due to the impact of school, and about 10% due to the classroom of impact.
I guess I understand that, but what is a VPC then? Because the VPC was different, the VPC for classroom, right? That was 0.044. So how do you interpret, the difference here?
Okay, the difference is that, and here we see the classroom ICC is 0.1, and here is just the 0.04, because here I would like to say this for this classroom, and here for the classroom various partition coefficient already included the school impact. So which means here we excluded the impact of school. So this is the reason why different.
So, but when you want to do your analysis, then do you present the ICC or the VPC? I guess they are not measuring the same thing.
Okay. There are some difference. Let me explain to you. And here ICC, we will just look at, okay, ICC, for the school, we will not consider classroom. So this, which means the ICC already include the variation among classroom.
Okay.
Yeah. So the difference here, for the classroom is 0.04, and VPC is 0.04, is we exclude this score impact, and then we only look at this score impact.
I see. I see. All right. I have a last question if you have time. Do you have time? Regarding sample size, I mean, I guess anytime you do some type of multi-level analysis, you may need to have a large sample size.
Yes. Yes, this is very important because if for some level sample size is too small, for example, if we only have 2 hospitals, and then the results should be more cautious.
But
so the sample size is not on the one hand is for the level 1 individual, and also for the second level and the third level.
That's what I wanted to get to. So, and is it more important to have the first a really large sample size in the first level and lower in the upper levels, or you also need to have large category? I mean, a large number of categories in each level.
If we have pretty large, that will be great. So, for example, if we only suppose we have 10,000, if we have 100 patients, we only have two physicians from two hospitals. In that case, that will not a good way to conduct the multi-level, because then we can do some just subgroup or the analysis. I mean, see here, the second level only 2, and the third level only 2. As I said, 2 patients, 2 from 2 hospitals with 100 patients. In that case, it's not a good situation to conduct the multi-level analysis. Okay.
I see. All right. Any other questions from anyone? It doesn't seem that we have other questions. So thank you so much, Zugui. Thank you for entertaining